Imagine waking before sunrise, taking your children into the city, buying food, and fighting through a crowd for the best view. At the center of the square stands a wooden platform. A prisoner is about to die, and nobody is hiding it. For centuries, public executions were not private acts of justice. They were staged performances. The condemned person stood on the platform, but the real target was everyone watching. Because the darkest truth is this: the state was not only killing one person, it was training an entire crowd. Execution days could transform ordinary streets into something close to a festival. People arrived early. Windows overlooking the route became valuable. Food and drink were sold. Printed ballads and last dying speeches moved through the crowd, sometimes before the prisoner had even spoken. Street sellers turned death into news. Cheap sheets described the crime, the confession, and the punishment, allowing people who missed the hanging to consume the story later at home. The execution ended, but the entertainment continued. In London, condemned prisoners traveled from Newgate Prison toward Tyburn in a slow public procession. Thousands could watch the cart, shout, pray, insult the prisoner, or simply enjoy the excitement. This audience was not accidental. The audience was the point. Authorities wanted punishment to be visible. A hidden death frightened one prisoner. A public death was supposed to frighten a city. But crowds did not always feel what they were supposed to feel. The execution platform was a political message built from wood, rope, steel, and terror. Guards controlled the streets. The sentence was read. The prisoner was displayed. The executioner completed the ritual while officials watched. The message was simple: challenge the law, the ruler, or the social order, and this body could become yours. The harshest punishments attacked more than life. They attacked reputation, burial, family memory, and the body itself. In England, the Murder Act of 1752 allowed the bodies of executed murderers to be sent to surgeons for dissection. Death was no longer the final punishment. The state could continue using the body afterward. You would not only lose your life, you could lose control of what happened after death. A condemned person was expected to perform correctly. They were supposed to confess, repent, accept the sentence, warn others, and die calmly. Religious officials prepared them. Accounts of their behavior were published. Their last words became part sermon, part confession, and part entertainment. A calm death suggested justice had been accepted. A terrified death showed what punishment looked like. But a defiant death could ruin everything. Some prisoners denied their guilt. Some attacked the court. Some defended their religion or politics. Others gained sympathy simply by appearing brave while the officials looked cruel. In that moment, the platform could stop belonging to the state. The prisoner could become a martyr, a folk hero, or the most popular person in the square. Public executions were supposed to look controlled. They often were not. Ropes broke, knots failed, trapdoors malfunctioned. Beheadings sometimes required more than one blow. A prisoner could remain conscious while the crowd watched every mistake. Now the state did not look powerful. It looked incompetent. The executioner could become the most hated person present. Crowds shouted abuse, threw objects, pushed toward the scaffold, or demanded mercy. If a prisoner survived the first attempt, spectators might interpret it as divine judgment. Perhaps heaven had rejected the sentence. A ritual designed to demonstrate certainty suddenly produced doubt. People sang, they drank, they prayed, they laughed, they fought, they bought printed stories and repeated the condemned person's final words. Some came for a moral lesson. Some came because a famous criminal had become a celebrity. Some came because this was the largest event their town might see all year. And some came for the same reason people slow down beside a terrible accident. They wanted to look even while knowing they should turn away. Officials hoped spectators would see obedience. Instead, they might see courage, cruelty, class injustice, religious persecution, or a badly managed killing. Public punishment was supposed to create one clear meaning. Thousands of spectators created thousands of meanings. By the 19th century, criticism was growing. Reformers argued that public executions did not make society more moral. They attracted disorder, drunkenness, theft, violence, and fascination with criminals. The spectacle could glorify the condemned instead of humiliating them. In Britain, Parliament ended public executions in 1868 and moved hangings behind prison walls. France continued public guillotine executions much longer, but moved them inside in 1939. The state did not necessarily abandon execution. It abandoned the audience. Once the crowd became unpredictable, secrecy offered more control than spectacle. Public executions were presented as lessons about justice. But they revealed something uncomfortable about power and human curiosity. The government needed people to watch. The crowd wanted to watch. And the condemned person could still change the meaning of the event with a few final words. The scaffold was built to prove that authority controlled death. But every cheering, laughing, angry, or sympathetic spectator proved the opposite. You can control the body on the platform. You cannot fully control the people watching.